By the piercing light of Amun-Ra, I have arrived. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special installment of the Ability Almanac. Why? Because we're on episode 15! Man, we've officially reached as many episodes of the Ability Almanac as there are Final Fantasy games. Woo! There's a lot more than just 15, but you get the point. Today, as you can tell, we're going to be taking care of Dr. Fate, who has some of the most interesting abilities in all of Injustice 2. And one of them is a little bit broken. Not like, oh wow, that is so broken, that needs to be nerfed. Like, it actually makes a move unusable while something else is active. And we'll be talking about that starting up. If that makes any sense. Anubis is vanishing. Oh, and don't forget to be awesome, guys. First up, pretty standard, air fireballs. These are an ability that you have access to as Dr. Fate in Injustice 2. It's literally an air fireball, nothing super fancy, what do you expect? But then, we have an enhanced version of the glyph known as the absorption spell. The glyph will now absorb projectiles, giving meter. But, if you meter burn it, it'll also heal you. By what amount, I am not entirely sure, but it will break projectiles now. It's a nice projectile shield if timed properly. One thing to note is that, and unfortunately I was not able to get it when I was recording, you're down 4-2 while Dark Trade is active. That is no longer a thing while you have the absorption spell ability on. Why? I don't fucking know. All I know is that you can use the healing field, but not the dark field. I have no idea. Time to move on to the next loadout. This next loadout features the alternate versions of the fields, both the light and the dark version. Instead of healing over time, you walk into it and you get an immediate explosion of health. Whereas if you have the Dark Ankh ready to go, it will damage and cause the opponent to react. On meter burn, it actually knocks them back. And, of course, interrupts throws now as a result because of those crazy, wacky shenanigans. I don't know why it takes me so freaking long to actually get this to work, but, I mean, I don't script these things, evidently, so it's just randomly, hello, let's try some random shit. Boom, there you go, explosion. Boom. Boom. And then, yeah, you can actually combo, do stuff. But then, you gotta be careful once you run out of tray, you have the healing field active, so you gotta go in and get your heals on. And then, we have instant judgment and instant punishment. No Pillar of Light? Well, that's because you're sacrificing it in order to get all three of them at once. It doesn't really seem to hamper the dark trait nearly as much. All it really does is it makes the explosions happen immediately. Whereas with the light version, you don't get the Pillar of Light, you just get the unblockable which kind of sucks, but what do you expect? But whatever. Time to move on to loadout 3. Have 2 ability slots that you want to fill up with something really good. You don't care about not being able to block interactables anymore? Want to piss your opponent off by preventing the use of meter? You've got powerless to thank for that. What powerless does is that it's a minefield sort of thing that for a little while prevents the opponent from using meter, as long as it's actually around the head. It does wear down after a little bit. But you can actually, this is the only move I know of in Injustice 2 that can actually hit while OTG. It's kind of nuts, but it's really cool though, in my opinion. But yeah, what this does is that for a short period of time, your opponent is unable to use meter. See? No meter burn gunshot that time. This also applies to air escapes and roll escapes as well. And I believe this may also apply to clashes, but don't quote me on that. That is ridiculous. And no wonder this is a 2-slot ability, because who needs to stop interactables when you can stop your opponent from using meter at all? Oh, that also applies to meter burn back 3s and forward 3s. No more armor for that while the minefield's active. That is nuts. Time to move on to loadout number 4. This ability is a single slot, so I've tagged the air fireballs as well. It's an air dash for Dr. Fate. The air dashes are very similar to his dashes on the ground, and as you can see, he's just bouncing and warping around all over the place. And yes, he can do his air fireballs afterwards, or any aerial special for that matter. Although I don't think he has any aerial specials outside of the gear move. So, huzzah for crazy dashing shenanigans! So, be careful if you find a Dr. Fate that has the air dashes, because if you have the air dash, things are gonna get dicey fast. Time to move on to the final loadout. And finally, we have the Seeking Displacer Orb and the Seeking Chaos Orb. Well, the Seeking Orbs in general. As you can see, it's a much slower version that has an unusual trajectory, because it follows the opponent. And the small one that is fired immediately, while slow, goes full screen. But the larger the orb, the longer you charge the orb, not only will it be larger, but it will also eventually fizzle out. As you can see, even with the smallest one, it will eventually fizzle out, but the bigger you go, suddenly, it's not even half screen anymore. Granted, keep in mind, I believe I have a loadout or a gear augment that makes the orbs slightly bigger when they're fully charged, but if I don't, then that's all the better. But just letting you know that that's probably what's going on. Damage does not go up, by the way, if you charge up fully. This really just makes things bigger. And that's about it. Nothing quite like shenanigans with the Chaos Orbs and all that stuff. Pretty soon we're going to be going into frame data, and I will shut up so that you don't have to hear my voice anymore. And what do you know, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked all of Dr. Fate's interesting tools. And stay tuned for the super combo for one of the super combos that I have for Dr. Fate. And as always, don't forget to be awesome.